Welcome back to the channel. It's your man Wise, back at it again with another reaction video. All right, so I am checking out Paul Harvey's broadcast from 1965. This is If I Were the Devil. I was suggested to check this out by someone down in the comment section, and I had to go do some research on it. Anytime you hear something like this, a title like that, you're like, man, what the heck is this? So I had to go and check it out. I found the video, so I wanted to do a reaction to it here with you all here. So let me slide the video in real quick. Before I get the video started, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you enjoy this type of content, man, drop me a comment and let me know. I will have an email for you guys to, send me things that you would like for me to react to. I'll have that hopefully within the next, within the next day or so. I'll have that whole thing set up. And without further ado, let's get into the video.
If I were the devil, if I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree.
This right off the rip reminds me of a book that I read recently, probably about 3 or 4 months ago, by Napoleon Hill, called Outwitting the Devil. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that book, but if you are not, man, take some time, do yourself a favor, and go listen to that book. I believe it's free to listen to the audio version on YouTube. Check that out.
So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve. Do as you please.
Makes complete sense. If you want to take over a society, it makes sense. Start with the churches. Start with the people who consider themselves to be, people of high moral regard, and that hold themselves to high moral standards. You would start there because everybody else, I think, would be easy. Would be easier to pervert or conquer. But starting with, those people, that, look at themselves or consider themselves followers of God, Allah, whatever you would, want to follow, whatever, religion you follow. It seems like it makes sense to, attack those people first.
To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square.
Boy, that sounds like my upbringing. If you wanted to be considered smart or, do well in school, that wasn't looked at as a cool thing, to be honest with you. And that just, peer pressure, things of that nature, forces us into situations that we know we shouldn't get into. But, it looks good, and it's a lot of these things are promoted, as good things within the music and within, movies and TV.
And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills.
Wow. Holy smokes, man. This guy is he, it sounds like he was in a time machine, and went and came to, the 2000s and said, look at this. And then came back and reported like, hey, this is how I would do it. And this is how you, because guys like him, I don't know, if people really paid a whole lot of attention to Paul Harvey, when he, did this, or did they think he was just being facetious or, just talking out the side of his neck.
If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed.
Yeah. Look at us now, politically, there's, friction, within families. Wow.
With promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door.
Wow. Although that is not something that is prevalent in all schools, it is something that is prevalent in schools, especially in a lot of your inner cities, which are mainly, blue, liberal, Democratic ran places. And you'll have the drug sniffing dogs and the metal detectors and things of that nature. And school isn't something that's, being smart isn't something that's encouraged. And school isn't considered something that's, extremely important.
Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress.
Well, they've definitely evicted God from school. Obviously, there's no prayer. And I remember, when I was in elementary school, standing up for the Pledge of Allegiance every morning. And I remember a prayer in my earlier years of elementary school. And I don't know that went away, but definitely standing up for the pledge. And we've gotten away from that, which, I think I think that's something we should have some love and, some patriotism, for our country.
And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money.
Man, boy, do we have a misuse of church money going on. I won't even speak on the boys and girls situation, when it comes to, I guess, the churches or pastors, misusing, them. I won't speak on that, but we've seen the stories, we've seen those headlines, over the past, 30 years, 30, 40 years or so. Wow. This guy's, man, he was ahead of his time. I mean, did he find, a way to time travel or something?
If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work.
Yeah. I mean, look at the, there's lottery basically in every state. There's casinos in a multitude of states. And it seems like even in the poorest places, in the country, the casinos, they're always packed. They're always packed. I've gone to some places. I went to Detroit, which is, Detroit's been down on its luck for a very long time, man. And I remember being in the casino and it was jam packed in there during the week. I stayed at a hotel that had a casino, attached to it. And I remember I was like, wow, I couldn't believe how many people were at this casino, while I was headed to work. It was crazy.
In patriotism, in moral conduct, I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun.
Look at what we have going on right now. Marriages are down, divorces are up. These poly relationships are starting to become really popular amongst our young people. It's crazy.
That what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing. Paul Harvey. Good day.
Wow. That was powerful. Powerful and insightful. Wow. I'd never heard of Paul Harvey, until someone suggested, that I check this out. And this is one of those, it's short, 3 minutes, it's short. And this is one of those things like, man, listen to it a couple of times and see, man, he checked off a whole bunch of boxes, man. A lot of truths there of what has happened to us in our society, here in the States. And I did a reaction to a video. I believe it was Struggle Jennings, who had a song called "God, We Need You Now." And man, that song especially after listening to this, man, it's even more powerful, you know, and more meaningful to me now, you know, after listening to, you know, Mr. Paul Harvey here. Wow. Insightful, man. Scary at the same time. Scary that in 1965 he could see the direction that we were headed. And he had to know. I wish there was some more context here, you know, as his thoughts on, you know, all these things, but he had to know that the direction that we're headed, that this country is headed, is it's not good. Wow. Wow. Insightful to say the least, man. Hey, I appreciate all the love, man. Thank you guys so much for helping me to, you know, get over 7,000 subscribers. You know, this is just really, really phenomenal, man. And I'm very appreciative, and I feel blessed. And, you know, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys, you know, who support the channel and, you know, watch the comment. Please make sure you smash that like button for me. Drop me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. And I'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.